that there's special permits that you have to get, that there's all kinds of different paperwork that you have to follow with the state, and we just felt that it was way too close to the center. So our recommendation is that we actually keep them as they are. And I know you have it measured in different ways, but we actually checked with Clarendon and Kendall and Albion to see where their setbacks were, and we were right in line with where they were.
All your zonings came from the same model in the,
I know.
from the 90s. So.
I know. And,
So
but
that's gotta be your own
people
thing.
know where the center of the road is. I mean, everybody knows where the center of the road is.
They should know where their property line is.
Well, some people don't, but
And some
we
people's
also,
buildings are in the property line, and now they will need a variance for anything they do.
well, if they're already there, nothing's gonna change for them, they're
going to put a
grandfathered
shed on
in.
the side or something like that.
Right, but if
They
you
would
wanna
have to
put,
put it 40 feet back from where they are now.
our thought was, if someone wanted to build something and they were within the setback, they could come to the zoning board for a variance.
That's always good. And I talked to Jim Bensley also about this, and he did confirm, and I looked it up as well. Clarendon, Albion, and Kendall all measure from the center of the road. They're all legacy, right? But I think this is a rural community, and we tend to do things in a similar fashion. And I guess our proposal is to maintain the current setback and the measurement. It was very unclear in the new proposed zone, because it wasn't until you got to the back of the definitions where it defined how a setback was measured. And so I think there was a lot of confusion up front, but after talking to amongst ourselves and other people, we're proposing we maintain that setback.
That would be our recommendation, and we all agreed on it at our meeting yesterday. So we hope you guys take that into consideration when you adopt the new zoning laws. That you look into that, check it out. One thing that was brought to my attention was a car is typically 25 feet long. You get two cars in a driveway, you're looking at 50 feet. That second car is going to be on the right of way. In the wintertime, we have a local law that states that you can't be parked on the right of way from November to April. So you might have cars in that right of way. Snowplow goes by.
All of those things should be managed in the site plan on commercial zones. They really should be managed like that.
If I can just say that the right of way is the right of way. It is what it is. The setback is completely different than the right of way. If you can't park in the right of way, the setback has nothing to do with the right of way.
Well, you did ask for our recommendations, and this is what we're recommending, that we keep what we have.
I hear that. I'm just clarifying the difference between a right of way and a setback.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's not like everybody's going to build there, and everybody who needs to get a permit from the county needs to get a permit from the county. So
One of the things I like about the zero setback, there are two examples that I'd like to bring to the discussion. The first was the Dollar General at Old Sam's 2. The discussion was how we're going to turn the truck around when it comes in. There was no room behind the building. With the current setback, the building has to be back. And the only option for the truck driver was to pull in and back in the front of the store, and it was very, very precarious. And Jim Bensley actually sent me a photograph of in Albion, I think in Medina, where the semi was trying to do that at a Dollar General and was in the ditch and stuck, and it was really a mess. So the zero setback would have helped the Dollar General in Holly there by being able to come closer and to the road. The second example I'd like to just say on the zero setback in the business district is that I would like to see the buildings in the front with design standards so they look nice, and put the parking lots in the rear is what I would like to see. So I like to see the buildings closer to the road than just parking lot, parking lot, parking lot.
And if you recall, Chad had to say parking should be on the side and the rear of the building. The building should be on the driveway. Potentially, you could have the driveway on the side, yeah. Right, but you could, if you get close to the road, you could have a prepared vision. And talking to Jim Bender, I also asked him about real setback, and he said some things to consider are maybe a road we might need to be widened in the future, or we may need to put a turn lane in. Well, yeah, I mean, we're talking 104, or water lines.
But that all has to be on the right of way.
Right, we're talking about all of these buildings that are already on top of, in the right of way. And on top of the right of way, it's preserving the existing line of buildings. So I don't think it's a big deal, but I don't like having to go back and forth and back and forth and every time. I did say when I met with both of you that it's great that the planning board's taking a look at this, and I think the town board should be prepared to do packages of updates, yearly, as we're going for the field, you hear the people who say, well, this doesn't apply well to me, and maybe find things to continue. It's not perfect. So it gets a little wearying to go back and forth, and I think, well, there's a lot of, you've heard my reasons, you're not compelled by them, that's fine. But we were asked to take a look at it.
And again, the county planning board approved the zoning. We, the town board, approved the zoning. Chad and Elaine, you were on the zoning committee and agreed to everything.
I mean,
It's difficult now to just.
I encourage you to work with it because so many buildings, it just reflects reality. And when you look at the Hamlet area too, those are historic buildings, historic layout, they're right on the side of, they're tight to the road. They're probably some of them in the right of way. But the zero setback is only listed as a business. Right, but, there's a 10-foot setback in the RA, so that's smaller, yeah. So, I think, you're not getting that much development, that it's gonna come up a lot. And I think people should know where the right of way is when they get a single rent in their house, if they're gonna build a new house. I guess I just wanted my town for it. So the right of way was one of the issues. Let me just run through the other changes. There was the stream corridors, we mentioned that, clarify that the regulations are not just for Sandy Street, but for the other stream corridors as well. Wanted to do some clarification on the farm animal provisions, which was new. Rather than including a definition of farm animals, we specified that there's a limitation on acreage for sheep, goats, cows, horses, or other similar animals, so, and lowered it from 3 acres to 1 acre. Added that you can have hens and rabbits if you raise them for any reason. You need to comply with the market.
I have a question on that. So it says up to 12 fully grown female chickens or 12 fully grown rabbits on residential property. Which is considered residential property? Like, let's say I have 5 acres. Then I only allow 12 female chickens. 12 hens. Some people.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
What if I want a rooster?
Roosters are usually not encouraged in residential areas, because they're noisy.
What's considered a residential? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
What's considered a residential area?
Well,
I mean, some.
Would be Hamlet, would be residential agricultural.
I think we talked about, we feel that farm animals need to spend more time on it, do more research.
Yeah, we weren't quite happy with the way this was worded.
I just think
And we're not sure what recommendation.
the reason I bring this up
You
is
can toss it out if you want,
Like-
but that's the whole thing.
my kids were in 4-H, for example.
Sure.
And there were a lot of kids in 4-H that had a garage or barn with 30, 40, 50 rabbits in it that were taking, they took great care of it, blah, blah, and this would eliminate
Yeah. It
that.
was Chad's idea to throw the rabbits in. I think we only had, we didn't have any limit on rabbits or goats, or it was just for large animals, would not have it on tiny acres, or have 3 horses on the acre.
Yeah, but I just thought of that, there's a lot of people right now are raising chickens, I don't know. But, 12 weeks.
I'm not attached to that, if people want to throw it out, I'm not attached to farm animals, we should let class it out if it's working on it.
I would be happy with that.
Anybody attached to the section?
To just get rid of
The whole
section
section.
515.
It was added in the revision, I don't think it was in the 2009.
I mean, if you wanted to lower this to 1 acre, where people could have, with that saying, if you lower it to 1, so people could have sheep and stuff?
Well, there's no restriction on it now.
Okay.
That just kind of added a acre restriction, so if you think it's appropriate to have a 1 acre limit, I mean, you could just get that part.
I think we should,
I think take it out and
Revise the whole
Yeah.
thing through that?
I think.
mhm.
Okay. All right.
Not attached to that, so. That's really a local, what the community needs and what makes sense.
The tiny homes, that's another one that we talked about.
Which we also talked about shelter,
Right,
so that didn't make the revision.
okay,
That's on your list of future.
yes,
Yeah, camping units, there was a limit of 2 RVs on any private lot at the time, and we recommend striking that from the, proposed revision. If there are unlicensed RVs, that falls under property maintenance to the uniform code, similar to a junk vehicle. So, there was no, you can see like there's any reason to limit the number of RVs, and it also says you can store them on your side of your yard. Under home occupations, there wasn't any change, except, wanted to make it less confusing. That, the revision from 2009 added 2 classes of home businesses and made it easier to do home occupation. So a home occupation is based, you can do some things in your house without any kind of permit. And we wanted to make that very clear, that it doesn't matter if you're doing a writing business or baking or, anything you do inside your house, if nobody notices, you should need a permit for that. So we wanted to make that perfectly clear. And then if those home occupations exceed some thresholds, which are specified here, you can get a special permit from the, town planning board for those home businesses. So the revisions from 2009 include a Class A and a Class B home business, and also clarified you can have a home occupation, no permit, but here's the requirement for that, but you don't need a permit for it. So I wanted to put that right up at the top so people understood that these aren't restrictions on home occupation, they're just what you need to meet without getting a permit. You can still have a business, but. So it's less strict than it was in 2009 in a lot of ways, and allows for more types of businesses. And the other change was just, there were some references that were incorrect or not totally in the process. And those are the changes we made based on your, suggestions last week. So, we're definitely gonna redo this to take out the farm animals, and, I guess it'd be nice to resolve the setback, so, let you.
Is there anything left on the table with setback?
I believe I might get some other questions, I mean, that's the feedback we
know.
got, yeah.
one of the other things was just the format of the booklet itself, make it more, reader friendly, because it's very, very difficult to find anything in that book.
Yeah, it's easier if you do it, as a
Well-
PDF, because then you can use it as like in the storage and stuff.
But they had to issue it in a tape.
I changed them, but now, of course, I gotta throw this out and change the farm animal, so.
But it, even Chad mentioned it, it's hard to
Well,
find things.
take a look, I made a small change, but, again, this is gonna be the final one, because now we've got to,
Could you make like a bold these articles and then put a space in between so we've got, I mean, it sounds like a stupid thing, but it's easier to read.
Yeah.
Highlights it.
if you do it, like as a PDF, you can click on just a section, it'll take you right to it.
Yeah, but I'm looking at a piece of paper.
Most of
And
them
when
are
we-
working off the-
When we have our meetings, we're working on a piece of paper.
Sure,
We're not working with a computer.
you can do that.
And it's very hard for us to find the different sections the way it's set up now. It's just hard to read. And it sounds petty, but,
We want it to be easy.
for the planning board, when somebody comes before us, we're working with paper. And it would be much easier if each section was its own section. So that would be appreciated.
the articles I put the articles on, it was too much work to put every section of the topic.
To, go back to setback, we also talked about, when we were 15 acres of visual sign information, which is how, we wanted to incorporate a visual
Yeah.
setback.
I mean, that's, we'll have to put that on the list because it's gonna take another half a day to get those together and then another time.
So if we change setbacks now, what does that, is that a major change for, review?
I just think it's a step backwards.
I do too, I agree with you.
These questions would be really.
No,
Well, because it's within the two state limits.
I just don't recommend it for the county because it's a step backwards and
Barbara, could
not
you,
effective.
Jerry Reitmeyer, Town Board, could you just explain for everybody here, in case somebody doesn't know what actually a setback is and what the right-of-way is?
Sure, so like on Route 104, for example, you have a highway, you can see. But the actual amount of land that the state owns is like 99 feet wide. So it's a pretty wide right of way, so that's the right of way. It's the property that the state owns where the highway runs through the middle of it.
And am I correct when I say that that 99 feet is divided in half? Half is on one side of the road
Not
and half is on the
necessarily,
other?
not necessarily, you don't
Okay,
know,
so that's not,
you don't know.
Right, the road could be,
So that's the other problem, you don't know where the road is in the right of way necessarily, you know, and any right of way, it could be different.
Well, that was a question I had, is, as far as a right-of-way is concerned, where does a right-of-way start and where does a right-of-way end? What's the delineation of the right-of-way on 104, or any other road in the town for that
it's
matter?
a survey mark.
When you get a property survey of your property, you'll know where your property line is, and when you build something on your property, I think you should know where your property line is.
One of the big problems with,
So that's why, that's the reasoning for having setbacks measured from the right of way, so that people find out where their property line is.
Yeah,
Well,
but the
Barbara, how
state-
do you know where your property line is if you don't know where the center, line of Ridge Road is?
If you've never had a survey done on your house,
I don't live on Ridge Road. We got land, we have property on Ridge Road,
or
but,
any place, if you've never had a survey done, you don't know where your property is.
Mhm.
And if I was to the planning board looking at a site plan review and someone came in and was like, where's your property line, and they didn't know, that would be a big problem,
So if you had the zero setback, like let's say it was 99 feet, you said?
yeah.
Let's say the road was, let's say most of it was off to one side, like you said, it's not all the way down the middle.
Yeah,
So it's like maybe 10 feet on one side, 50 feet on the other.
possible, I mean, maybe not that
But,
extreme, but.
yeah, just, and then if you had zero setback, there could be something pretty close to the road, you know? Or no? I don't know.
no, because the utilities would be off the road as well.
The site plan, you know, the site plan would have to take a look at that, you know, and the plan has a lot of flexibility in the site plan. And it's like, it's a minimum, not a maximum, and it's not a requirement. Whoever comes in wants to develop, like, I'm gonna put this building here.
At that time, the planning board would have the option to say, well, this scenario with the way the hill is here and the traffic is here, we will require you to have 30-foot setbacks.
You might want it back, you might want it forward, I mean, you know, I think from the design, forward is better, because then you can put the parking in the back and the building in the front. And a lot of the buildings are kind of lined up right along the setback, right along the right-of-way line.
And if I could just add,
You wouldn't know that if you didn't look at the aerial photo with the property lines overlaid on it. Which is, you know, you can do that.
But we're really talking about with respect to zoning and the setbacks and right-of-ways, new builds, correct? We're not talking about existing structures right now. That's all grandfathered.
Exactly, yeah.
but it would be, there's two things going on. Is Ridge Road is a unique road. It's at the old beach of Lake Ontario, and the, even Jim Bensley, I have it here, commented on the depth of the area that you can really develop on Ridge Road is kind of shallow. You have the creek on one side, and you have a sandbar beach basically on the north side, which is shallow. And beyond that, it turns wet and undeveloped, you know, I'm not saying, you would have to fill and do all that stuff. So part of the zero setback for that area is the 99-foot right-of-way, and the shallowness of the partials, which are not conducive to commercial development. And Jim Bensley has it right here. He said it was wise on our part to zone, to reduce the commercial district on Ridge Road to a limited area because of the geologic makeup of Ridge Road. I think that's important to note.
And the lots are, some of these lots are tiny,
They're very small, yeah.
you know, so that, you know, also, it's just reflects reality. And, you know, I guess, I'm not gonna be stubborn about it, because it's really that important to me personally,
You asked
but.
what is our planning board recommendation, to maintain it, I'd like to talk to the board that they want to
All right.
sit around and
So what other, sorry, Randy?
No, and that's something, if that's the direction the planning board wants to go, that's something you can always look at and change without a public hearing. Right? If you get this ball rolling, keep it on, that's.
You know,
Today, or, you know,
the comprehensive plan, if I can spell out, is our guide, and it clearly talks about what we should be doing. And one of the things is reviewing the zoning, you know, annually, and working on other things as well. I personally would like to see us work on design standards for new development, what we would like them, you know, to look like. Instead of people just putting up whatever they want, we'd like to have some character to our community. Those are things that we can be working on as well. I don't want to get bogged down in the weeds on detail when we could be working on larger picture things for the betterment of the community.
it's a detail, you know, I mean, I think it's gonna have all.
The changes that you obviously already made, we're gonna strike out the farm animals, something like that, and if we left the setbacks the way they are now, is that something that we can move forward with and get it to our meeting?
Either way,
this month?
yeah, just, you know, whichever you decide, you know, we can do that, and, yeah. The way they're proposed now, with they had it from the front.
Just what their recommendation is.
To go back, to like revise this again.
But not have to have a public hearing and then
Oh,
revisit
yes,
it.
it
But
is,
let's
yes,
get moving down the road.
yes, it can be, yeah, I'm not sure it would require us to. I'll just, yeah, yeah.
One more quick question on that. If we keep the setbacks the way they are, but somebody wants to come in and says, yeah, we're gonna come in here so we can get the zero setback, is that something that we can
Well,
also?
if you want,
Also,
you know,
Yeah.
well, now you're making more work for the Board of Appeals and requiring people to get variances.
Yeah, I was
You know,
just
you're
wondering.
requiring more people to get variances now, so having.
Right, from the way it is now, it's just a planning board requirement that we want you to set, you know, this is a minimum requirement. If we leave it alone, the planning board has the jurisdiction to say, I'm sorry, I want it further back.
If it's a site plan review thing, but if
Right.
anybody wants to put a garage next to their existing building and they're not conforming to setback, they're gonna need a variance. You know, you're creating a lot of more variances, which is what we were trying to avoid by changing it. So, you know, if we wanna go back to where it was in 2009 and, you know, have that still be a requirement, we'll see if we're gonna be more variances. You know, it's not my role to fight, you know.
And the other thing is, I personally don't want to see the new development forced to be behind the existing development, especially on Ridge Road.
What it would be, yeah.
You're gonna push new buildings behind the existing building. And I just think that that's unfair for new development.
That's what you're telling people.
And you're
that you're not-
telling people to put their
Everybody says,
parking lots in the front. you know,
leaving it
just-
up to the design, you know. It's gonna take
But from the road, but from the road, you're, with the 99-foot right-of-way, you're gonna be at least 20 feet off the pavement, anyway. At least. But I'm sorry, David, I didn't mean to put you.
20 feet isn't long enough for a car. You cannot fit a typical car in 10 feet.
But you're not gonna be, you're not
No,
gonna,
I get that, but that's still mighty close to the road. If a car goes off the road, how many times have you heard where cars hit a house? Like, you know somebody that hit a house.
Yeah, what I think the planning board would have the opportunity to say, this is where you wanna build. We don't think, because there's only 20 feet on that side of the road, that we want you to go back another 20 feet. I mean, basically, power would be in your hands
We're trying to be less restrictive here, and
to make it how you want. Because, as you say, with 104 is moving, so the actual footage on changes off the road. So if someone came to you and they proposed a plan, and in that section, on the north side, maybe the right of way is only 15 feet, and that's way too close to the road, you need to push this off the road. Even more, and you'll have the opportunity to say,
Or is there a curve or a thing,
the planning board has a lot of latitude, a lot of
And
latitude.
people who were building, you know, they wanted to do the right thing too. And then, I guess my other thing is in the hamlet areas, these are like small, tiny little lots, historic lots. And now we're putting suburban style setback requirements in the hamlet area too. So, I mean, that 10-foot setback from the zone, because this matches the historic layout of the buildings that are there now.
And I don't wanna make it harder for anybody, because I think you're getting it hard enough for everybody. So,
I mean,
The other thing, Mike, everyone, I have to argue that when they laid out Ridge Road, I'm sure they put the center of the road in the center of the right of way. I'm just guessing, you know, for the most part, it has to be in the center of the road.
more or less.
You know, they didn't-
But it varies, it varies.
Yeah, a little bit.
You showed us to show the center of the line, it was pretty
It
even.
was pretty, yeah, okay, in that section, but you never know really.
But, you know, for the ones that would apply for us.
Yeah, it's not gonna be drastic.
Yeah, the map that showed us was even.
But, the easiest thing would be to leave it the way it is. And
I think we should try to leave it alone and see how it goes. Yeah, but leave what we agreed to with the meeting
The only revision regarding the setback was to clarify that it measures from the right.
and leave the setbacks alone. And if it's just not working for us, then we have the ability to revisit it all.
It's a living document, basically, right?
I would encourage you to consider a package of rezoning every year.
I think it takes courage to make change, and we as human beings are worried about change, and the document is not, we've been using this document since 2009, so we know where everything is, just whipping it open. The new document is a new document, we have to become accustomed to the new book. You know, that's just kind of my, but, no, please,
if it's something where
share it with the
already
board.
there, and they wanna build a garage or something right next to it, right now they're there.
Well, no, they would be.
No, they
With,
don't.
with zero setback,
Yeah, no,
setback,
they
but without, they'd have to,
they would.
so there's gonna be things like that makes sense.
Well, I understand both arguments, that one makes sense. But this is something we can change, I mean, it can change.
I think you just have to be prudent about the safety.
That's number one.
And, you know, each situation is different.
And that's where the planning board comes in. And they look at it and they say, because again, the setbacks are the minimum. And the planning board says, I'm sorry, but the minimum setback is 0, but we're gonna require you to go back to the start because of safety. And
And you need to, if you have a site plan before you, then you need to have a highway permit also. So they're gonna have to talk to the highway department, to your county, and get that approval, you know, before you're approving it anyway. So they're asking for it. So the sighting of the driveway is very important, you know, the design of the driveway is very important, you know, and so the easiest thing, instead of me researching what the setback used to be in 2009, going back in the document, would be to leave it the way we had it updated in 2001, and think about it some more. I don't think it'll cause a lot of
cause problems for you.
Then we'll strike this out and get it right.
Just the farm animals, is really.
Yeah, we'd like to get something done on the 15th is our meeting, our town meeting.
One comment I wanted to make, and I wish Ed was here to hear. One of the questions that Lindsay and I asked when we met last week was, I think we feel good about something. If the town board decides they want to expand commercial, can we still do that based on the insurance comprehensive plan, and both Ted and Barbara said yes. It's a guide, it's a vision. Right, that's exactly right. I mean, I brought, and it's a good chance to have these out. You know, if people don't have color copies, I printed out the executive summary of the comprehensive plan that was adopted. It's just kind of lists all the recommended actions, so, yeah, we did this small printed version so that the planning board and others can, you know, just remind yourself, of what was recommended and the general guide, so.
Is that this one?
Yes. I know. You have to get paid for this. Oh, beautiful, so, but anyway, the comprehensive plan is arranged directly with the guide, and we try to word all the recommendations regarding business development more generally enough so that it doesn't bind you to specific, and that, you know, there's some flexibility. It does have a future land use map, but there's not always, you know, it's not restricted.
And I just want to say, there was some criticisms about the committee working on it through the COVID pandemic and all that. I want to thank the committee and all the participants for working on it through the COVID pandemic, because it was hard to do and meet, and, you know, so I want to thank them for persevering and not quitting in the middle of that.
There is no.
So with that, I think the idea here then is to forward this local law, the zoning local law, to the town board for the meeting with the, Cindy, can you be specific about this, with the revisions of, can you please, let's just be clear on what exactly we're revising so there's no more question on that.
We're gonna strike section 515, farming land. 515, right, farming land.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say anything about the rural, residential or do you think that? I don't think it's worth on that. It's not, you know, there for the future. It's like a placeholder for the future. I understand what you're coming from, but, is it possible, once you make these revisions, you can send it to the planning board for us to review before you guys vote on it?
And the town board as well,
Yeah.
but I want to say that I think we're done changing things.
Everyone wants having the benefit except for the farm animals.
I think you guys have that, the copies?
The only thing I changed is, I did fix the paginations, I saw that the paging was weird.
Hang on a minute. Sorry, I'm sorry, hang on, Cindy? Yeah, no, I wanted us to be clear, I'm sorry. What we're doing here, what we're actually striking, she wants to put in the record. Okay. So with that then,
Visibility.
Yeah, but legally, I don't have to
Joe.
adopt it that way, that's just.
Yes, sir. Oh, just a moment. Lloyd has a question.
Yeah, it's in the agricultural and the farmlands here on page 4, it says farms in the town of Murray produce fruit, dairy products, field crops, vegetables, and livestock. We don't have any dairy in there.
I noticed that, yeah. Well, someday we're
Well,
gonna
we
have to
may.
update the comprehensive plan again too. There's
We
no
may.
dairy in the zone.
We're gonna, you know, there's some folks that want to bring kangaroos to town. I don't know if anybody heard that. And some folks asked me about kangaroos, I said, you bring them, I said, they're not native to the area, but you're welcome to bring all the kangaroos you want. Well, so, okay, so everyone is,
Yep, it is.
all right, so just, we have other items on the agenda as well. Is there any other question for Barbara while she's here? Because she has to drive back into the city, east of the city, so I want to make sure that we, is there anything else for Barbara? I want to be considerate of her time. I would like, no, the meeting is the 15th, but, you know, early next week would be great. Yeah, we will have our agenda done on Thursday of next week, whatever the date is there. Yeah, if it comes to me, I'll disperse it for sure.
I'll
if-
give you a draft of the resolution and add another whereas.
Okay,
that we've got
that'd be
the
great.
extra changes.
That's your 11th then, yeah.
But not every-
Okay, so, thank you very much, Barbara. And the planning and zoning boards, you're welcome to sit at the table. We're gonna continue working. We'll just give everybody a chance to, pack up or whatever, but we gotta move into the other items on the agenda as well.
I'd like to just make an announcement on the ag plan.
Oh, right, thank you.
So, thanks, I think some of you are landowners and farmers who returned surveys, thanks for that, or thanks to the forum, thanks for that. We have we got a lot of great input, we got some good ideas, the next step is to send quick draft out to the committee, and if we can meet like, May, I know that's tough for farmers, but, every kind of stuff. What we're working back from is the county ag and farmer protection board, we review it, and we follow the plan of the grant. Once a year, in July. So we'd like the town board to have a public hearing in July. And, or the board, the committee to have a public open house, so we wanna talk about when to have that, maybe do it in July. The county board can look at it before the town board looks at it, that's fine, you can look at it in August if you want, but, the committee needs to approve it.
Review it.
And we wanna have another farmer meeting to present with recommendations. When you set that date, can you put it on the website? Oh, absolutely.
Should,
We might do another.
do you guys wanna look at the calendar now, Barbara? Or,
I forget what day it is, it's in July, and I just found it. But that's the ag board for the county, so that doesn't, it needs to be pretty much done, but, that's pretty perfect, I don't know. But we wanna have an open house to present it to the farmers locally.
in June, you'd like to do that?
Or July,
June or July? What would you like?
we'll ask the committee.
Okay, all right, so we'll just wait to hear from the
Wait,
committee.
But I just wanted to give the town
Okay.
board, because
Yep.
the town board's also gonna need to do a public hearing, but we hope by the time the town board public hearing comes around, everyone's had a chance to weigh in,
Right,
and it's, pretty good shape.
okay,
We learned a lot.
Yep. Yep. yep.
All right,
Well, thank you
take my
very
leave
much,
then.
everyone. I really appreciate the planning and zoning boards coming. Again, if you guys want to stay, you're welcome to stay. And Barbara, thank you, a big thank you for coming and working with us.
Thanks for
Thank you.
everybody who paid attention, it's pretty technical, so.
It is, it is. So why don't we just take a recess for a couple of minutes? You guys want to just take a couple minute recess? Get a cup of coffee if you want, whatever, and we'll jump back in. Diane, thank you for coming as well. We're gonna talk about, water rates and stuff. We're not gonna raise any residential meter fees. We raise the water rate, then we have to raise the farming water rate from, we were paying $4.50 right now, and Chick-fil-A at the $5 instead of $1 like we did for the town. Right, so it's gonna go from $4.50 to $5. Eric wants to talk about whether we want to raise the meter fees or Jim to 30 or 50. So we're gonna just talk about that, we're gonna take an action. But, and then, that's pretty much it.
How much does it cost? How much is it? You get those meters checked every year. I know. They're checked every year.
How much is it cost? There's some places that are more
Or do it when they turn it. You can't lie.
right?
You can't lie.
You might not get paid, but
You're gonna you don't lie about a meter. It's like with me. It's like with me. Well, yeah, monthly fee of $30 a month. Well, if they don't come to pick me up right now, that doesn't work out. I mean, $30 a month. I have $210 a month ago. I don't think they do a whole lot. I feel that a month. I only use $24 a month. When you figure that out, well, it's worth the aggravation of not having problems.
what I say is, I can say how much, I think you say, there's $10,000 water that's here's how much you spend, here's how much you bought for about $1,500. What you need to be, you need to make more. You need to believe it, right?
So again, my own philosophy, I think you're supposed to be putting these water lines out like you're supposed to.
Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna just,
I don't know, where does he have any? Where does he have any? Where does he have any? What's the part of he's not in charge of it. The land board, all he is there. It's like the whole setback thing. There's setbacks on those pins. They used to use rods. They're 20-foot boards. They used to have 2.5 rods off of it. I mean, now if you go on the middle of the road, you'll find a pin. They have to have pins. You find the pin, and you go from there. So it's usually 55 feet. It's usually 55 feet. And that's on the state highway. That's the right of way. Right. Well, now you.
setback is not part of that too. And the right of way is what the state owns.
And the right of way is well, the right of way is usually in the middle of the road, so it's usually about 15 feet. Usually the highway is not more than that.
You gotta get off and on somehow.
No, the whole animal thing, I didn't understand anything about it.
All right, do you want to, you know, I think this is my book. We don't want chickens in residential areas, like half-acre lots, because we're roosters. There's people on Route 31 that have chickens, and the problem is they get out of their hen house, and they're shitting all over the people's driveways and eating the flowers, you know, the neighbors. in those tight areas, so you can have all the chickens you want as long as you keep it contained, but, and then, you know, but who the hell wants to hear a rooster cackling all at 4 o'clock in the morning, you know? Unless it's yours.
If you wanna have that kind of stuff, then go out in the country.
Yeah, but no shit, a guy asked me to bring kangaroos to town, I said, you can bring whatever you want, you can bring elephants. You know, they're not native to the area, so. Anyway, okay. All right, I'd like to get this.
She's gonna go back and take it out, I think that, yeah, you guys are the town board. Well, that's
Ready for the phase 2? All right, so the next item on the agenda is the public comment period on the regular town board meetings. We all discussed that, so we don't need to get too complicated with it, but we're going to move the public comment period from where it is currently to the top of the agenda under the approval of minutes. We'll approve the minutes and go into public comment, and public comment will be limited to agenda items. Is there any, that's the theory.
I think the reason we're doing that is because if we leave it at the end, people speak on things that we've already voted on. They give us our opinion on something that we've already either passed or turned down. If we put it at the beginning of the meeting, they can give us their opinion before we vote on it.
Well, and if we have an executive session like we had here recently, we could be out there for 45 minutes and people are walking out the door, right?
Well, executive sessions typically have been after public comment, right?
They're gonna do it as it pertains to the agenda, not resolution. Both. Resolutions, it would be on the agenda, everything that is on the agenda.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure of your question.
The county restricts it to,
Agenda.
on resolutions, not, so it doesn't matter. Anything on the agenda.
I think anything on the agenda is fair, right? And then we can adjust from there. I do want to say that I do believe that, to be respectful of folks who want to talk about a specific topic, as long as it has to do with town business of some sort, that they can still request privilege of the floor to be on the agenda to speak about a certain topic, right? And we give them.
Well, we gotta stick to the 5-minute rule though, right? As far as,
For the most part, as long as,
Believe that they should come up here and talk to the town board,
yeah,
and at the podium,
Yeah.
they're not to talk to
right.
other members out on the
Right.
audience, they should be addressing us with their concerns or their topic.
It's nice to have interaction with the folks, but it has been getting a little unruly and a little out of hand. So we're gonna try it, to see how that all goes now. Do we need a resolution, not tonight, to do all that? We can just make that happen? Okay, right. Yeah, and I'll just make that announcement at the next meeting for the public when they're here, so everybody's on the same page. Yeah, oh, that is true.
It'll be on the agenda Thursday, so anybody coming to the meeting, we can set the agenda.
Right. But is the rules for public comment, are they,
Well, rules for public comment, you would say, agenda items only.
well, I'm saying, are they,
Well, I mean, can we just say that on the agenda every time, public comment? Agenda items only.
right, but I'm saying, we had a whole back page of rules for public comment, right? So I didn't know if these follow what we're trying to do, that's all. Do we want to? Right, so, okay, that, and also with the agenda, I think it's important to have all resolutions that we're going to be voting on typed up and prepared prior to the meeting. That way, the board knows exactly what we're voting on. And I would like to ask for support on that. Other towns do that. I think if we type resolutions, even Paul Keneally commented to me on that, they should be prepared prior to. That way the board, there's no question on what the board is acting on.
Sometimes we don't know exactly the wording.
That's why we're getting the agendas done a week ahead of time.
And then we did a resolution for the backhoe, and what we've done, it didn't even follow what we actually need.
Well, that's why we should have, I think we need to firm up what we're doing, and resolutions are important.
I think we have, if we can have it on there, there's sometimes going to be emergency.
Oh, I'm okay with the emergency item, but for the most part, if we know the business ahead of time, there's no reason why we can't have resolutions prepared to be voted on in writing for the meeting. So let's ease into it and let's get her done. But I would like to request that. Is the board in agreement with that? Okay, thank you, guys. So with that, then let's move over to Mr. Lamis and Ms. Penna on whatever it is you'd like to discuss in highway and water.
Yeah, I think what we're looking for is to raise the farmer's water rate from the current rate of $4.50 per thousand gallons to $5 per thousand gallons. And then I wanted the board's input, on what our meter charge or our base charge to be for our farmers. Currently, it's $30, per month, we have meters on the farmers have the meters on a month-to-month basis. Right now, it's our $30 a month to have that meter, which covers some of the expenses, which includes the meter installation, removal, our meter readings, meter testing that we do. I didn't include in our expenses the cost of a meter, but that a new hydrant meter is $1,500. I don't feel we'd be gouging, charging $50 a month at $5 for the farmers. Having that $50 there would cover our operating expenses, which is the installation, removal, meter read testing, and would allow for a savings for new meters and stabilized. But I wanted the board's input on whether we should raise that or not.
I'm sorry, you want to raise it, how much?
From $30 to $50.
50.
With the meter charge per month, whether you use the meter 1 day or 30 days, you're getting, right now you get charged $30 a month.
Correct.
The water rate going from 450 to 5, what has it been in the past compared to the regular water rate?
The past the residential rate. So right now, we'd be doing $1 less, and the rate is gonna be $1. Leaving our profit margin at $1.17 per thousand, as we average our water costs between Monroe, Albion, Holiday.
So what we did was, Alex and I worked a couple hours today on water. We took the profit margin that we currently have from the cost of water to the selling price, right? And we just said, okay, because the cost of water is going up, so we took the basic, we held the margin. It was a 10% margin, so we increased the cost or the selling price of water to hold that profit margin at the same. We didn't feel we needed to. Right.
Very comfortable at 5. I still wasn't too much.
Right, and the meter is something that the board needs to discuss, I guess, and the selling price of the water. The,
Is the farmer responsible for any damage or after that meter when you get it out? Who's responsible for that if you install a meter?
I don't know the language in the actual contract with farmers. As far as Scott, I know with the residents, there is something that residents are responsible for keeping meters from freezing. I have to read the farmers, I don't remember seeing that in there.
Yeah, who would be responsible for damage? Okay.
I thought it was, I thought I read it on the rules
It might be.
that it's the renter of the meter, hydrant meter, is responsible for that meter.
It might be on there. I know I had a phone call, from one of the water haulers last year. Somebody wanted to keep their meters really late in the season. And I just flat out told them, we already got all the meters in. And it's getting cold this week. It's your responsibility to take care of that. And I read so many things, so many contracts, it could be in there. I just have to go out there.
Well, isn't there a form that the renter fills out?
It's got the tax, it's got every tax parcel number on it, where the meter's gonna go, so you, in case there's not something paid, and something's not paid, that you go on the taxes, you levy on the taxes.
Right, but is it easy to get that form that shows who's, is it easy enough to get? I don't wanna make you do a bunch of work, but if it's something we're discussing, it'd be nice to see if it's in there.
I'll be honest with you, I understand where we're going with it, but my only concern is we already went down the water road once this year and raised.
Yeah.
Do right out the year and then see where we're at again. We've got.
Well, we're not talking about, I'm sorry, dear.
There's a lot of stuff that's not getting talked about tonight that changed since we increased the rate that's changed, which some of that cap or some of the stuff was emailed out, there's like the minutes from the village. So we're told there's gonna be an increase of X and then double it. And now it's coming.
Well, we're not talking about it.
We're not talking about that. No, it's still.
Correct.
So there's a lot going on besides just the farmer's rate. The farmer's gonna come up, the meters are going out, and there's gonna be billing starting at the end of the month.
Dirk,
We're nibbling away at this a little bit. Yeah, because when we did the water rate last 14 and it was just the residents, and we didn't do anything with the farmers. So that was never discussed. So, really you didn't follow anything that's talked about in the meeting, not the town board meeting, but behind closed doors anyway, so it's not showing a little monkey wrench into the figure.
But are the figures you're talking about, Dirk, are they the figures that you and I worked with today, Alex, the projected increases, not the ones that they increased, but Dirk's saying there was additional charges.
So
And
the projected ones would be the additional that probably business property.
okay, so today we relied on those projected rates of water when we were doing our profitability and whatnot. So that was good.
So I have a new policy here that was adopted by the town board April 11th in 2017. That the rental fee was 30. If lost, stolen, or damaged, we would charge a maximum of $1,500. If the bill is not paid in full, it will be levied on the taxes. The meter must be installed by the town of Murray. If requested, the meter may be moved by temporary employee for $50 per move. No private is allowed.
So basically, the liability for the meter damage and replacement is on the renter, correct?
So I don't quite see the importance of that.
Well, I think it was about, well, I think that was just a discussion item. Mike brought that up.
$1,500 isn't about stolen, that's to say, about replacing when they go bad. So the volume of water going through them is greater than the house. So if the meter goes bad, does the farmer buy the meter? Or is it only if it's stolen and damaged in the field?
Well, I think if the meter goes bad, it's just, it's the town cost, if it's stolen or damaged.
Now we have to replace it at our cost, so we need something that is replaced.
Right, so we got to
Revenues there to replace it.
account for that replacement cost. But cost that we're charging.
It's not necessarily about, so, you'll, this has been hashed, changed, rehashed, talked about, we put a lot of time and effort into this, and then the math gets redone. I'm kind of like, whatever, I'm kind of lost in the whole thing, because it's been changed and rewritten so many times. We spent a lot of time in the beginning figuring this out, and, you know, it's like trying to reinvent the wheel. The figures are great. Yeah, I'm not even, like I said, I wasn't even prepared for tonight to even really talk about it, so. We can discuss it. Yeah, I wouldn't vote on anything tonight.
No, we're not.
I wanted to meet so we could ask questions instead of asking 4 different people asking the same thing.
Right, so, you know, back to residential, we raised the residential rate 20%, and we're not, it's my understanding, we're not gonna add any increased meter fees to the residents. Are we in agreement with that? I mean, just in general, that's what, that's a conversation I had today with Alex. So, okay, so the, well, that's the purpose of the board, of the work meeting, is to hash things out, but, right?
Yeah, just got one quick question
Yeah.
on the average cost per thousand. We're pretty satisfied with that 383. You think that's average across the board? How do you
If
average
you
that?
took the cost of mineral water, counted Albion, Village of Holly, and Gaines, and you added those up and divided it by 4.
Okay,
That's
that's
how
how
I
you
got
got
my
the
average.
382? Okay. That's just based on the cost to us per thousand, not necessarily we get so many gallons from Gaines compared to Milwaukee.
Right.
It's just, they're, okay.
If I can talk about the average price of water, Mike, just for everybody, I think that the average price is close, but it wouldn't be accurate because you have to do a weighted average. Because we buy so much water for this price and so much water for that
Yeah,
price.
that's why I asked that question, yeah. So I wanted to know how they got this number.
They added them all up and divided it, so it's not a weighted average.
You want it done on a weighted average, or you want it done?
I mean, if you want, I can get technical and find out where each farmer is and which water they possibly pull from, and then figure it out by then.
No, we don't need to do that. I think the good news is we're making money in water. We've turned the corner in that. And, Alex and I spent a lot of time today just on total water sales, farmer or resident, just sales. And we're doing well right now. It's how well do we want to do is the question.
We're only talking about these farmers listed here then, right? So it probably really wouldn't be that difficult, would it? Or would it?
What,
To figure out, you know, where they're buying water from.
They are in the line, you know, I'm not as familiar yet as where our water comes from and how it travels through the system. I'm sure some would be using others to figure out. So that if you really want me to work on that, I can,
Just asking you.
But the consumption of a farmer, the 3 million gallons is a drop in the bucket to the whole volume of sales we're selling. 55 million, so 3 million isn't really peanuts, right?
So do we wanna raise it, not raise it, because we're going 3 million, or we want them to say?
My
That's just a
calculations-
question, not a question. So what's the argument on, what's the,
The argument is we're not arguing about raising or not raising.
oh, I'm just saying, what's the relevance of 3 million versus 55 million for the farmers?
Do you want to do, my point is, do you want to do a research project on 3 million to find out where the water's exactly coming from? Or would you want to look at the whole thing of the town to find out what your true cost of water is, based on volume?
We've done all that, and the accountant's done some of that, but again, how much time do we spend to get how precise? You know, how much time do you really want to spend on it? Where's it really getting us in the end? I mean, we can spend hours and hours and hours and hours.
Well, I want accurate data to raise costs to consumers.
We've got accurate data, it doesn't matter what kind of data we give, if it's questioned and hashed over and checked upside down, sideways, inside out.
And that's good. So what do you guys want to do? What's before us today is we're looking at raising, recommended by you, Alex, 50 cents for the farmers. And I don't see, you know, it's up to the board on, let's just take it one step at a time. Randy, you want to, you know, comment on the 50-cent increase for just the selling price of hydrant water as recommended by the water department?
Let me ask you, so when we raise the rate, what is that possible?
Sorry?
When we raise the rate for residential? The sale of water, but when we raise the rate.
At the last meeting, it was it was only residential use, residential and business use. Yeah, this is, again, let's not talk about just farmers, right? This is what we're trying to categorize here as a bulk water user, right? And you know, somebody on a hydrant could be the water hauler, you know, it could be fire department for all that matters, whoever connects to a hydrant. And what do we want to charge for that bulk water? You know, I just got this before the meeting. I haven't had a chance to see the hydrant usage, but in my opinion, I think we need to define what a bulk water user is in volume of water. And the price for 500,000 or 1 million gallons is this, and if you use 5 million gallons is that. You know, because again, it's what's you know, what's affordable to that bulk water user. And from the town's perspective, I would like to not price ourselves out of the market by overcharging. I'm not saying to undercharge, but that's why I'd like to be accurate on that. You know, when you talk about farms, it's how much can a farmer afford to pay for hydrant water versus going to the creek for a pump.
I think we're overthinking this and making it more difficult than it needs to be. But what are your thoughts on a big corporate farmer coming from out of town, Kendall, Farwell Way, Shelby, coming into our town, using our infrastructure and irrigating? really cheap compared to an income farm.
Well, I think what needs to happen is you and Alex need to come up with your proposal of what you want us to raise it for. Because I got 50 cents and I'm okay with that myself.
Well, we had a proposal, we sat in the office and talked, me and Mike and you, and talked. My recommendations weren't really followed. So, and that's fine, we talked about, and then some things changed with the townships, with the rates. Because other townships, board members didn't follow recommendations and pass the cost along to us. Thought we had everything prepared, but that's out of our control. So we had rate increases that we weren't expecting, and there's possibly more coming from the town of Albion also, another 18 cents. As soon as the village starts tacking on, Albion's talking about looking that we broke the contract by not using our booster pump station and charging us, therefore charging us more money because they have to pump the water up to the tower to give us our pressure, the pressure we left, instead of us using the pump. So, they wanted to increase last year, year before, and when I talked about it, we did it to them. Now that the village of Albany is passing on the rate, of 40 cents to the townships, they're not making the money they want, and they're talking about adjusting the rate. So there's stuff coming down the line. We want to get ahead of it. Well, I'd like to, but again, I'm the water superintendent. I'm advising something. If it's not taken, that's fine. But I'm just advising. It's my best recommendation. We sat down and done a lot of math on it, and we can always adjust in the future too. But once you're behind the 8 ball, it's hard to catch up. And things have changed. I don't know why.
Are you comfortable with the $5?
Our original thought on the $5 was we were going to raise the residents to $5.50 and the farmers to $5 with a $20 charge, and you get rid of the meter fee and name it something else, and just have a flat $20 and $25 charge to cover our cost, so we didn't have to raise the price per thousand so much. So then we raised it to $6. And since then, we got another 20 cents coming, so that took away 20 cents of that extra money. We're possibly going to get another 18 cents coming from the town of Albany. There's almost 40 cents of the extra 50 cents. Right now it's 20. If you use no water, you're going to get a $20 bill.
50 cents.
Most of the gallons, if there's a dozen people that don't purchase 2,000 gallons of water, that's it. So they're actually getting some of the money, and not making money with the water. You're not covering the cost from that.
Randy, if you could speak up just so the rest of the board can hear.
I'd say this, I think we're almost there. Again, like we would. Push this if you like. But, and we don't have to vote on it this month, we can vote on it next month.
Well, for the farmers. But we're okay voting at the town meeting, right, on the farmer increase?
We're planning a town meeting for the farmers' meeting, we're going to build it in, we're fine with that. Then, if we want to do anything with the residents, we have until the end of June, or even June.
Okay.
We have time to talk about it and understand it.
Today, when I met with Alex, and we had a great, we spent, I don't know, it felt like all afternoon, it was good work. We calculated our gross profit on selling price of water less cost of water, okay, per thousand. And I want to say that today, at today's costs, at $6, we're making $7.87 per 1,000 gallons profit just on the sale of water, okay? Then with the increased prices that are coming down the road, right, is that where we're going? It would be $6.76 per thousand of profit. But again, we did a lot of math.
If we're only charging $6 a thousand, how
Yeah.
are we making $6.50?
Well, it's the base fee that you're talking about, right?
Oh, and that is, hold on, that is, thank you, because we included our fees. We are also charging meter fees on that.
Are those meter
And
fees going into an account like it's supposed to?
the meter fees are supposed to be going into a meter fee account, yeah, in revenue. They're, I'll look at that, but the meter fees are typically, or in actuality, they're an administration fee. That's
Right, but I mean, I know that when people come in and they ask us.
Yeah, and that's why I want to change that to reflect what it is.
Change it to like a base fee, not
Admin fee, something.
something other than meter.
Yeah.
But back to everybody's question on how can you be making $7.87 per thousand when you're only charging $6? It's because we included in we included in our cost all the meter fees that were being charged each month from the vendors, and we included in our selling price the additional meter fees, the $10 per quarter per household. Right, and that's,
That money's supposed to be going into a fund to buy meters. How can we consider it?
I mean, because that's what I was supposed to tell the residents, when they come and say, what's it for? That's to replace the meter.
right.
But there's nothing separate, it was meant to help offset the cost of the operation of water, you know, but what we're done with, how we keep track of it.
It all goes into one pot of are we sustainable or not, and you know, you could earmark the money for the meters, but I think we've already, if we do that, we've already paid the meter fee. You know, everybody's already bought their meters, and we can take that fee away. So we should be honest and say it's an administration fee is what it is, and it all goes into the town. And if you need your meter, we got the meter. You know.
What I got out of the accountants was, if you put it under a earmark or named account, once you take that money collected and put it under an account and name it something, now it becomes a problem what you use it for.
Exactly.
Right now, it's not putting, it's putting the general water.
Operation maintenance.
We check
Whether
it
you took
every
that out
30
capacity, so you would think that.
We check it out. That's check with the cost and whether that's applicable, if we could use meter, that can be one of the, user average, no? The meter, rather it be a meter fee.
I want to change the name of meter fee because it is causing a problem. Wouldn't you agree? You know, with the public, we need to,
I won't have two people from one place question, with me, I'm just being honest.
Yeah, well, when they see it,
So, well, I'm just saying from my perspective, and being out and talking to the public, those two people have issues with every single, we just spent an enormous amount of time at their residence this month. Because he felt we were gonna overcharge the water and we're gonna still agree, what's going on, but it is
But currently it's falling.
yeah.
Okay,
So-
so I'm okay.
We were
Base-
all on board with it.
yeah, for the residents, for residents.
So we don't have to talk about it. It's 6 account. We're not talking about
talking
it
about the
anymore.
hydrant fee?
We're talking about the hydrants.
Right, right.
Right.
No one's talking about residential.
So,
Okay.
so
Well, yeah, I'm looking at all this, and it's just not the hydrant fee, but
It is hydrants, yeah. We can-
So we can't mix up either, well, we'll talk about it.
well, let's just talk about it.
We're just, get the farm stuff done, whatever you wanna do,
I
we
think
can
it-
pass it at the next meeting, but we gotta leave it.
So if I'm comfortable with $5.
for the farmer,
Yeah.
I believe that that's reasonable, and I think we should disclose what we talked about, Mike.
Without a doubt.
If I can make an announcement on the record, Cindy, that the majority of the town board has to disclose the ethical conflict that we have Lloyd, Chris, I'm married to Amy McNamara of Herd Orchards, and Mike Mealy has Mealy Farms, and we all use hydrant water at some point. So we will be discussing and voting on an issue that is a conflict, but we have no choice because we're the majority of the board. So I just want that on the record and fully disclosed, so no one can come back and say that we voted one way or the other without full disclosure. That's important. So the question was raised, are we comfortable with the 50-cent raise? I'll put it to the board.
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
You guys have done the math. I mean, I know you've worked at nauseum on this whole thing and it's frustrating as hell. But at some point in time, we've got to trust that you guys are doing what you feel is best, and we're just going to have to accept it. And if we look at it next year and adjustments need to be made, then in my opinion, then you go from there. But I'm trusting in what you guys have done so far, so.
Lloyd?
If that's what they say they need, give it to them.
Okay, and I'm in agreement, so I think that we'll put it on the agenda for the 50-cent markup. I'm a little confused on the meter fees myself. I don't know how to respond to that. If you guys want to discuss it further.
Yeah, I wanted your guys' opinion, if we can do that.
But you want to go from 30 to 50.
So once again, we're talking about farmers and water haulers, meter on the hydrant.
Yeah,
$30 a month, you know, they put $50 a month.
Yeah, who covers that, then we,
Now, that's the hookup fee and everything, right? That's-
yeah, that's hookup, takedown.
Read the meters, we test the meters.
I don't have a problem with that.
I'm good with that, too.
Do you guys have concerns about theft of meters? I know you mentioned that something was going on in Albion.
Lost one last year.
What's that, Dirk? We had one?
Howard lost one.
Village did?
I don't know where they called me and asked me, if we've seen one or where they said they had it, and it's not missing.
I guess that's why I asked the question, that I did earlier, that we would respond to as well.
I guess if I saw something really wrong, I would point it out. It just didn't stand out to me as something, so it was probably in there. The word that I would have stuck out and said something about it. It was a non-issue, so I didn't
When you come
take
in,
that to it.
hook it up, you hook it up to the hydrant.
Yeah, block it up, hold up the hydrant, block it up.
At the end of the day, the farm has the right to take it off and change the building and hook it up tomorrow. Out there all night long.
Yeah, they have the option of chaining it up. They have the option,
Is there a good way to chain and secure it?
there's
Or,
no way, a good way to secure anything, because the bolt cutters and the cordless saws and the, abrasive blades, they will cut through anything. If they want something, they're gonna do it. I had a steel contact, they cut right through it.
Well, no, I'm just asking these questions because as you say, it's $1,500 a meter, and we all know what kind of, economy we're living in. And the prices of copper and brass, you know, it would be nothing for, honestly, this, the record of who has them, probably shouldn't be, who's got in the wrong hands, one night they'd have them all. Every one, if they're all in the hydrant.
As soon as someone finds out, and it's not worth or something, it'll be like this partisan cigarette.
Well, in all fairness, so if anybody's gonna steal one, they're gonna go down every damn road they can and try to find them, right? It's right on the frickin' hydrant. It's not like it's hidden. You're gonna see the damn thing right there, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's why I asked that question.
well, I think a chain on it at least will keep the honest people honest.
You gotta come prepared to get
I
it.
mean, if they want to get it off, they need a what? They need a 4-inch pipe wrench or something at least to get it off the hydrant.
Yeah.
So whoever's looking for meters is looking for meters.
Once you break that seal, or you need something, they can take a rock, to tell you the truth, and hit the ears, and once you break that seal, hand is taken out.
Okay. So,
Can you get something for the farmers, like some for states that, also for them backing into it, maybe a box or something?
I don't think, I think it's hard to do.
Because, yeah, because it's just, because of the, well, what the meter's made out of and the hydrant are cast steel and it was just, how do you attach it, how do you, you know, it becomes a, yeah. You know, if they wanna, you know, they do need to get that hydrant, you need the other side of the spout or.
Well, let's get back to the cost. It's what is it, a 60-some% increase in the meter fee. So it's up to the board what they want to do there. You want to do all or part or, Mike? Attorney, Boyd?
No, I agree. You know, if they need $50, give it to them. That's all right. Look, you know, it's tax deductible to begin with. It's a write-off. So why should the farmer bitch about it?
Well, it's not like you're getting
know.
charged that every month, because you're not using that thing in January or December or now. You're using it when you need it.
That's right.
I have
You're
to
using it
say,
for what, 5 months maybe, or?
For the water towers, and they're like, let's try to get the numbers last year. We're good with it, and they were.
All right.
They were completely good. They're all good.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the consumption. I just want to point this out. I'm just looking at the consumption here by individual. And I'm surprised that each individual is really not using that much water.
No, that's what I'm saying, on the 3 million gallons,
What's that really come up to, you know,
the 50% increase is about $1,500.
Oh, for the cost of water.
Just
Or
a
the-
50% increase.
Yeah.
From 450.
Well, it looked like CP Ward used half of the total consumption, right?
On that bridge job.
Yeah.
And that's a one-time deal, so you can take them out of there. So we'll be down to 2 million gallons. Amy, you were the second largest user, farmer. And Bob Bandetti was the, Bob Bandetti. Yeah.
so what would that equate with for,
He's got 400, just call it 460,000 gallons. And, but, so that's $2,000 for the water. And then,
so that's 230 bucks, or 50% increase, 230 bucks per year.
for the,
50% increase.
on the water, and then the meter or the fee, right?
So yeah, 30 bucks at 5 months.
Another $100, $200 a year,
And
right?
the other thing I just mentioned to Alex is, it costs you money to send the guys out to read the meters every month. Is there a way you can do that by the quarter too? That way you cut the cost of the guys going out every month reading the meters, and every month we send a bill versus,
The meters that we have on there are the electronic, that we can do the electronic, meters on,
you know,
the endpoint. And those meters won't be.
right.
So you would be hourly rate for employees, the $50 charge doesn't cover the expense of the.
No, what we need to just kind of discuss in there, we probably after benefits and everything per hour is probably about
You're looking at $100 a guy,
Right, that's what I'm saying.
standing there, yeah.
I mean, you're providing a service. Right. You gotta get
So I don't
that.
know if
No, what I'm saying though is just a cost-cutting measure to the town to increase profitability is, do we have to go and read that meter every month?
some of my concerns being that if you want to say quarterly, in order to keep things correct in the billing system, it will have to be issued at a quarter, so if you're not using it for so many months, and so they would be going out in April, or might freeze, so now we can't take them out. And then if you're gonna bill quarterly and you have large consumption of water, say somebody's spending $600 a month on water, then you let that go to $900, what if they go bankrupt and then they can't pay the bill? And we're getting billed for water monthly, so the cash flow, if we're getting billed for water monthly, and they're using a lot of water.
Yeah, but they're not using a lot of water, that's the thing. 30,000 gallons in a year, 40,000,
Right, but.
7,000.
Month basis, they are using quite a bit of water,
month to month?
month to month.
Dirk, do you have anybody complain about the price of it?
I had a question come up on Monday, but nobody's ever called me.
Tell them to go out and buy a pump and get water out of a creek and see what it costs them to run it.
And
And
the rate's been out there for quite a while, that
Mhm.
$50 rate, it's been out there for quite a while. The $59 meter replacement, that's 2 years old, everything's gone dramatically through. Hopefully we never have to replace it, but.
Well, anyway, I think, just to get, I'm sorry? Yeah, let's just circle the wagons back to the fact of the meter fee. So we're good with the water rate, and the board seems to think the increased meter fee is where we're heading. So is there anything else on water for today?
Do we need to classify it in such a way, verbiage-wise, so that we don't have problems taking money out of certain accounts? Does that have to be changed on the bill? I don't know, you were talking about,
No, because at this point, it's for residential, I'm talking about residential on water bill, is that expertise. I don't know if Shelby, our bookkeeper, is keeping that separate. I mean, I was told that that was for meter replacements if we need that, because then we'll have money for them as we need to replace them. I mean, from what Joe said tonight, that's county and our revenue.
Yeah,
It's all in the.
Right.
it's all in the mix. So, all right, well, so,
No, as far as the hydrant fees go, we're good.
okay,
So if we have to replace the meters, we're gonna be looking at soon.
townwide residential meters?
You know, you're talking over $300,000 to replace, and that's not the way, that's just the meters.
what's a normal life on those meters?
It's in the millions, but the problem is with the software, the reading.
No, but I'm saying, how long do they typically last?
You got them out there, they're 15, 20
Yeah,
years old.
but those are, the old ones were made better. Now, the newer ones that they make now, I was told, well, that's,
We went with these cheap plastic, they're completely plastic, instead of brass, brass.
So are you on a routine schedule then to switch these out every 15 years or every 20 years?
We're down to a handful of bronze ones left, and they're all plastic on the newest model. Problem with the newest model is the software and the reading, the endpoints are obsolete. And this is the problem with technology, is they've got us over a barrel when you go to technology, and they change something, you're up the creek. You have to change the computer system, you have to change, you know, so that's part of the problem, is it's convenient to read, but they got us over the bill, and the barrel, they change the software. Yeah, that's part of the.
I just wanted to speak about the grants real quick. My whole thing, I want to try to go back in there, it's a mess now. So you and I will get together again, and we, in order to get the grants, we have to get into Grants Gateway, and we have an account, and we're trying to figure out how to get Alex an account in that, so we don't have to do it again. But wow, it's a complicated system, isn't it? All right, so off of water, are we good? Moving on. I had a couple just general questions, but I'll get them out of the way, and then I'll ask the board for whatever they want. The solar law, we just had or we're gonna have a public hearing on the solar law, is that correct? At the next meeting. And so, does the board want to adopt it at the next meeting, or you wanna wait a month after the public hearing?
My opinion, just my opinion, I think it looks bad to adopt anything right after the public hearing, because that's basically telling the people out in the public hearing their comments, and we don't care what your comments are, we're gonna do it one way or the other.
I agree with that, but what happens if nobody comes? What's that, sorry?
You do that every time.
Okay.
So why change?
So,
All right, so,
like our last public hearing we had, right, we asked the public comments, we had no one, that's the thing. But I
Okay.
think it's just bad business practice to make a decision.
I'm good either way.
I don't care.
all right, so we'll have the public hearing, let's just do it the right way, we'll have the public hearing, and then we'll put it on the agenda in July.
Right. Do we pass it if nobody says anything?
Well, okay, is that what, that's why I'm putting it to the board, I'm with you.
I have a concern and have a concern and say,
If one person has a concern,
we know, but if nobody has a concern, why would, if you have a concern?
Well, you know what, you can't be doing that either. Put it on, or maybe not put it on, or question mark. I say, wait till that fall.
I agree with Cindy, actually. And I wanted to ask Cindy about it in the board because it's a little complicated to adopt it. We have laws on the books right now dealing with solar and wind. And I think our resolution to adopt has to take into consideration the repeal of the old ones and which ones are they, and do we need Paul Keneally to be looking at that?
I don't know, I believe that you can just do a resolution repealing that.
I think they might be in different locations.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we have.
Solar and wind, they might be in, it's not.
Alternative, renewable energy that we have, and then we have solar, I think. Yeah, so I think if it's all right with the board, I'd like to throw it at the lawyer too, so we don't have a technicality.
They don't like it.
Well, it's written,
Yeah.
What's that?
Not the repeal of what.
no.
And the resolution to adopt, and so if we can go through our local laws and get the data, and we'll give it to the lawyer and tell him for the June meeting. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, I mean, is there gonna cost us more money?
No, no, it better be.
Okay, well, no, because I mean, I can probably look and see how to do it.
And also to Randy and the board, in that attorney's new negotiated contract, we had the threshold of, what was it, 5 hours a month or something like that. Well, if you look at the attorney bill that we'll be looking at, you'll see there's a little extra fee in there for research. And I don't know, I mean, it's not that much money, but it's in there, and I don't know if we should be questioning that. Yeah. So,
When I get foils, I was sending them to Paul, but then I thought you put that on one of our bills. So.
well, that's what I mean. I think we.
I'm gonna send them foils anymore.
Well, I know, the one thing, we can't be as afraid of our lawyer, so I think we need to communicate with the guy.
No, but I mean, I'm telling you, I wasn't asking questions, I
Well, a lot
was
of
just
times-
sending him for his record.
Well, a lot of times he itemizes it, but he's still in charge of the 1,500, even though his itemized
Yeah,
bill might
You have
be-
to look at but there was a little surcharge for research. And I don't know what the research, I can't think of what the research was, but it's in the inbox there. So, you know what, if you would dig his bill out and put it in my box, and I'll give him a call and say, where are we with this 5 hour threshold, right? I mean, that was our negotiated deal. Right?
I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? You're still gonna have to do the.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's in his wheelhouse, totally. So, and then the last thing is, Mike and Lloyd, if you can talk to Chad about a temporary certificate of occupancy, I think that's something we really need to take a look at. Okay? And then with that, gentlemen, I will turn it over to you for any other stuff.
That statement, I don't know what that, you just want me to say Mike and Lloyd,
Yeah,
into a temporary.
CFO with Chad.
Is there any consideration to putting something in the hub or advertising for the code enforcement officer position?
It's in the hub
going forward?
now.
It's in the
It's
hub
on
now?
the thing. And on that topic, I reached out to guys in the business, and they said that their recommendation was the town should develop a page on LinkedIn for all of our stuff, because LinkedIn is like the place that the real people go. And so we should have I don't know if there's a charge, if it's free, whatever, but a Town of Murray LinkedIn page for all the positions.
I do believe it is free, it's like a social media page kind of,
Yeah.
for jobs. I, going to college, that was a hot topic. I personally don't know many people my age who actually use it. I'll advise look for jobs under I can do on this job, and then it pops up as well.
Do we pop up when you do that? Town of Murray? Okay, but, I think, I don't think it hurt, right, Mike? Indeed?
The only other thing I have, we talked about it briefly at the last meeting, is, as far as the planning and zoning board members, upcoming meetings, and do their annual training. And I feel as a board member that if you can't put the time to come to the meeting, you're, appointed to come to, everybody will miss a meeting once in a while, but if you're constantly, you're not coming to the meetings or not attending the trainings, I think the town board should have the right to remove you.
Oh, I believe we have the right to remove for cause, and I think cause would, non-attendance would be cause. And non-training. Well, no, I don't think you can be removed for non-training. You can't be reappointed for non-training. I think we gotta look at that one. But I think,
The board, I think the board could take it up as if you're not gonna attend your 4 or 6 hour training a year.
yeah,
That's cause to me.
Anywhere, you just do it at home.
I understand that, but you need to do it.
Why are you doing it?
yeah. So, how was our,
Bad.
so we need to send out a message on that, an email.
Well, I mean, I
To
think the
everyone.
ones that, Dorothy and Elaine, who gets that? You have your training.
Well, for this year,
Well, no, because you have to get every year.
I think all the planning board members have.
But
training.
zoning, Eric has never done, training. I don't even know if anybody on zoning has.
All right, so, Diane has she has a crib sheet.
Yeah. and-
So let's get that and let's take a look at it.
And I know that we removed Roger because he didn't come to the meeting.
And he wanted to be off too.
Yeah, but we didn't even
He was
ask-
willing.
But we
Yeah.
didn't ask him, we just said he was done.
Yeah. Well, we want to do it right, but, but I think it's a good point, Mike, and, I think we got to continually be active in recruitment.
If there's one sport or something, I think it has to be government.
I think you're right. So, okay, so we'll get that roster from Diane, and I think we should draft a message to everyone and say, hey, please, yeah,
Because I think, can't they even go anytime online and
The county has a list of ones that you can watch on YouTube. They just do a screenshot to show that the history that you've watched it.
so, I mean, if you gave them a couple months, they could certainly get 4 hours training.
Well,
You know,
right.
Sit down.
I think what we should do is definitely focus on the folks that are due at the end of the year. The term is up at the end of the year, and if their training is inaccurate, then we should have a fallback plan, because,
No, I think everybody should.
well,
It shouldn't just be the one.
no, everyone, but I mean, the ones that are at greatest risk right now, and we're bound to not reappoint, is the ones without the training. And that's, okay,
I mean, I'm really bored every day.
well, we're gonna get him
Been to training
ever.
2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. Bill Silpak has been, he trained last year 4 hours, and so did David Leach, 4 hours.
This year. All right, so
But they have till the end, I mean, we're only in May.
does Diane have that, or just you, Mike?
No, this is from Diane.
Okay, so can you send that to the supervisor, townofmurray.org?
Yep.
And then I can at least,
So some meetings have never been training.
Never.
sorry, what was your question, Lee?
How did they get the percentage of never been training?
Well, that's the scary part.
They're supposed to give their certificate to the town.
Yeah, on her, spreadsheet, she has the expiration of the term, she has, is equivalent oath of office and training on file. Eric Collier, never been to training, and, Evan Moore.
Got a lot of on-job experience, so.
That's not good. It does not look good.
And who's the other one? Adam, well, he just got on. All right, so we'll address that.
No, right, you're right, I'm going back and, she sent me, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Okay. Well, again, I think we just gotta, urge everyone along here and send out an email. And, especially with the online stuff, I mean,
There's no reason not
they don't even have to sit in front of the screen, they just gotta sign off at the end or something, right?
to just send a message, we apologize for not coming, got tied up with an emergency at work, and you guys all.
And can I say that you mentioned about Jim Bensley wanting to talk?
Yeah, I
I think it would be really beneficial.
He's got a lot of knowledge to sit down with.
Bensley is outrageously great. Just, there's no finer man than
I
Jim.
mean, I think our board would, I mean, especially the zoning board, it doesn't get together that often. I think that they would really benefit from it.
Yeah. All right, well, enough said on that, I think, right? We got the message on that. Is there anything else, guys? Motion to adjourn? Second by Mr. Bauer, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned, or meeting adjourned.
Joe, I have just one thing. I'd like to have you read something for me. What I underlined there, please.
All right, hang on a minute. Is this a personal?
Yeah.
Then meet me in my office.